What's up, investing masterminds? The other day I was scrolling through one of the Mind Over Finance videos, just looking through the comments, and I saw a really good question. This question comes from David, and he was asking whether he should invest in VTSAX or Vfiax. So in today's video, let's talk VTSAX versus Vfiax. Let's look at strengths, weaknesses, performance, and let's see which one is the better one to invest in. My name is Dash, and welcome to Mind Over Finance. And to make the YouTube algorithm happy, please slap the like button right in the face. First, let's pick apart the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund Admiral shares, ticker symbol VTSAX. Let's look at all the essential points of VTSAX. So, it has a low expense ratio of 0.04%. Very important when you're investing in index funds. There's a minimum investment of $3,000, and at the time of this recording, VTSAX is selling for $101.64 a share. So what are the strengths of VTSAX? The first one I see is diversification. VTSAX has over 3,600 stock holdings in it, and it's about as diverse as it gets. So for that investor looking for complete stock coverage, look no further. Number two, consistent performance and returns over time. VTSAX is a fund that was designed to mirror what the entire stock market does. And while past performance doesn't guarantee future returns, historically, the stock market as a whole generally trends upward. And as an investor, if you're looking to capitalize on those consistent stock market gains over time, VTSAX might be a good idea, as it returns just under 8% on average per year. Another really big strength for VTSAX is that it includes those nimble, small, and mid-cap stocks that might be getting better than average returns under the radar. Now, the weights of these small and mid-cap companies in the fund might not be that high, but at least they're there. Another strength is that by investing in VTSAX, you can limit the risk that you might have by investing in individual common stocks on your own and the losses associated with it. So what are the weaknesses? We mentioned that investing in VTSAX lets you invest in those small and mid-cap stocks that might be getting above average returns, but the flip side of that is it also includes those small to mid-cap companies that are getting less than average returns. But again, these small to mid-cap losers might not be that heavily weighted in the fund either, but they're in there. The second weakness is limited returns. While you can get consistent growth and steady returns over time with VTSAX, the opportunity cost is the explosive growth that you could have by investing in the right individual common stock. Although that's a little bit riskier, it is an opportunity cost to pay attention to. Next, let's take a look at the Vanguard 500 Index Fund Admiral shares, ticker symbol VFIAX. And with this fund, some of the essentials are exactly the same as VTSAX. So it has a low expense ratio of 0.04%. It has a minimum investment of $3,000, and at the time of this recording, it is selling for $366.87 a share. What makes Vfiax a strong investment? This fund is targeting those 500 companies that are responsible for a large chunk of the stock market's value. Historically, the S&P 500 has pretty consistent returns, and Vfiax mirrors that. And over time, Vfiax is averaging just over 7% returns per year. Another strong point for this fund is that it excludes those small to mid-cap companies that don't meet the S&P 500 requirements. Whoopsh. And number four, investing in this fund can limit some of the risks that you might run into investing in individual common stocks on your own. What are some of the major weaknesses of Vfiax? Well, because it excludes those small to mid-cap companies that can't meet S&P 500 requirements, it's also going to miss out on those small to mid-cap stocks that might be getting better than average returns under the radar. And number two, the same as VTSAX, limited returns. Vfiax is a steady, consistent performer. But let's be honest, the odds of you having a run like Tesla had in 2020 are highly unlikely with Vfiax, or any index fund for that matter. Let's compare VTSAX's performance to Vfiax's. In the last year, VTSAX has had a return of 35.6%, while in that same period, Vfiax has had a return of 31.27%. So VTSAX wins in the short term. In the midterm, if we look at 5-year returns, 17.44% for VTSAX and 16.79% for Vfiax. So VTSAX wins in the midterm. And over the long-term 10-year period, 13.45% for VTSAX and 13.39% for Vfiax. So VTSAX wins in the long term too. And since inception, VTSAX has returned 7.91%, while Vfiax has returned 7.31%. So it looks like across the board, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year, and since inception, VTSAX outperforms Vfiax. Risk-wise, I'd say they're about equal. They're both large basket funds that carry nearly all stocks. So on the one hand, you could argue that VTSAX is the more diverse investment because it has 7 times more stock holdings than Vfiax. But on the other hand, you could argue that a diverse fund doesn't necessarily mean it's more stable. Vfiax has its 500 plus holdings in companies that have proven themselves to be more consistent performers in the market. So I don't think there's a big difference in risk. So after looking at all that information, which fund is better? In my humble opinion, these two funds share a lot of similarities, and their performance is pretty similar over time. So for that investor looking for a more stable, consistent, stock market-based investment, I don't really think you can go wrong either way. But as I always mention, I'm not an investment advisor, so make sure to do your research before you invest any money in anything, even index funds. I could just leave it at that, but that's kind of a cop-out answer. So if I had to choose one, I'd probably say VTSAX. And that's just based on the performance numbers we looked at. But keep in mind that the stock market does change over time. The S&P 500 changes over time. The same companies that are on the S&P right now might be completely different in 10 years. And the same with the stock market. The stocks that make up the stock market could look very different in 10 years. And because of that, I invest in both VTSAX and Vfiax. But if I asked you to choose between the two, VTSAX or Vfiax, which one do you like? Let me know in the comments. Alright guys, well that'll do it for this video. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to turn that like button blue. Share, and if you're brave enough, subscribe. And join me on this journey to grow Mind Over Finance to 10. Hold up, before we do that, I just wanted to say, guys, thank you so much for all the love and support. While I was filming this video, it looks like we just crossed over the 2,000 subscriber mark, and it took 1 year to get from 0 to 1,000. And within the last just over 3 months, the channel has doubled in size. So guys, the love has been phenomenal. Thank you for all your comments, for taking the time to watch videos, all of your likes. Even when you have negative things to say, I try to listen and make adjustments. So I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I look forward to the next 1,000. All right, let's try it again. 10,000 subscribers strong.